readiness and risk reduction. This is Module 1, Week 1 for the third quarter topic. So before we are going to proceed into proper discussion, so let's have a pre-test first. So this is multiple choice. So all you have to do is to select the letter. Pre-test. So now let us proceed to the proper discussion. So our topic for today is all about basic concepts of disaster and disaster risk. The Philippines is an archipelago in Southeast Asia, surrounded by the Philippine Sea and Pacific Ocean in the east and the South China Sea in the west. Due to its geographical location, the Philippines is exposed to high incidence of hazards such as typhoons, floods, volcanic eruption, and earthquake. With a land area of 300,001 square kilometer and estimated population of 101,991,000. The Philippines is one of the world's most disaster-prone countries. Philippines is also one of the countries that belongs to what they call the Pacific Ring of Fire, where the two major tectonic plates of the world meet, the Eurasian Plate and the Pacific Plate. The Pacific Ring of Fire is also known a path along the Pacific Ocean characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. It is the reason of the occurrences of most earthquakes, which resulted to tsunamis. Many active volcanoes are also found because their eruptions have been found in historical records. The Philippines lies in the Pacific Ring of Fire where the most number of volcanic and seismic activities are recorded. Provinces at risk to earthquake include Surigao del Sur, La Union, Benguet, Pangasinan, Pampanga, Tarlac, Ifugao, Davao Oriental, Nueva Vizcaya, and Nueva Ecija. According to the report of United Nations University Institute for Environmental and Human Security and the German Alliance Development Works, the Philippines belongs to the top 10 countries facing the highest stress next to Vanuatu and Tonga. Philippines ranks third on the list of the most vulnerable countries to climate change with a 24.32% disaster risk. However, this percentage can be lessened if all the Filipinos will informed and knowledgeable enough on disaster preparedness and prevention. Aside from being situated in the Pacific Ring of Fire, it is also located along the typhoon belt on the western North Pacific Basin, where more or less 66% of tropical cyclones enter or originate in the Pacific Ocean. Philippines is visited with an average of 20 events of typhoons per year, in which more or less 6 of these typhoons can be rather destructive. Its eastern seaboard is highly exposed to typhoons with wind speed greater than 150 kilometers in every hour. The Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones due to its geographical location, which generally produce heavy rains and flooding of large areas and also strong winds, which result in heavy casualties to human life and destructions to crops and properties. So what is a disaster? A disaster is a sudden calamitous event that seriously disrupts the functioning of community or society and causes human, material, and economic or environmental losses that exceed the community's or society's ability to cope using its own resources. Though often caused by nature, disasters can have human origins. Disasters are increasing nowadays and it cannot be avoided. Accordingly, disasters are the final exam for a community when they have not taken the course. So, the best way is to get ready and be prepared. The best way to get prepared is to be proactive. Disaster preparedness refers to the measures taken to prepare for and reduce the effects of disaster. So, what are we going to prepare during disaster? So, here are you going to do. Prepare to be self-sufficient for at least 3 days by putting together an emergency kit including non-perishable food, water, a flashlight, a portable, battery-operated radio or television, batteries, medicines, antibacterial hand wipes, first aid kit, money, seasonal clothing, and sanitation supplies. Disaster preparedness helps us to predict and, where possible, prevent disaster, mitigate their impact on vulnerable populations, and respond to the effective cope with their consequences. That is why a new law, or the Republic Act number 10121, or the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010, DRRM, transforms the Philippines disaster management system toward the disaster risk reduction, or DRR. One of its purpose is to reduce the risk brought about by any calamities or hazards which put one's lives in danger and loss of many properties. Okay, since we are done on our discussion, so let's have our assessment. So all you have to do is to put the pieces together to form a word.